Hey, honey, if you're being a rebo, because you're gonna think I'm being a rebo, honey, because you know about our hearts that we love each other is because we talked about our life and we prayed the Lord like say that if we're gonna love each other forever, and then we're gonna do it. We're 29 because my mom was like, I guess you guys can do whatever you want to. If you ever talk to me to the next weekend in my room, we could do whatever we want to. The weekend after, I want to ask you about your life with me is because you love to being alive with me, but we got a life that shares with us, and we do the love in our life because we do our loves in our lives because the life is gonna help you. Like the Lord is gonna tell you now, it's because He's gonna tell the Bible will you love me a lot. It's because you're gonna say all kind of Barbie, all kind of Bible stuff that you're gonna say to me, and you're gonna say all this kind of Bible thing you're gonna love because the prayers of the Lord is gonna say that you're gonna be like that the whole time. And I remember when we used to drove each other crazy when we were 20 years ago, and we used to do that all the time. 20 years ago, we used to drive each other crazy. Yeah, we used to do that all the time when we were girlfriend and boyfriend all the time. We did that all the time, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, and because we do that a lot because we do that a lot of our hearts that we make our life that we praise, and we make ourselves we're gonna make ourselves look like we're crazy, and it's part of life. um like you're gonna be like saying, what kind of life is gonna be like that? And then you're gonna be like, what kind of life you're talking about? And you're gonna be like, what kind of life you're gonna be talking about? All kind of love that we always do. 20 years, this is like 20 years we always drove each other crazy all the time. Like I remember the first time we drove my mom crazy, and that was the longest time that we drive my mom crazy all the time because you know, did you remember we used to drive people at JTS crazy years ago? And well, I just didn't even get to see no Bobby, nobody else that knowed us from JTS. What I was at Wyland went bowling the other day. That was like yesterday, but and then so when I went there, and um um I went there, and then when I went there, and I probably was you know that's because they were there too, bowling too and hanging out with I went with Tank, and I went with Tank and David. That was like I went with Tank and David, you know, and um I I hung out, and I um I loved hanging out with you because you loved hanging out with me, because up there like in our picture of us, it's like been 20 years that we're always loving each other for the rest of our lives. And because it was like 20 years I always wrote this note of you, um you know, because it was like 20 years ago that I was marrying you because I was loving your life, and I was. And years ago when we had our life together, it's because we drove like our hearts together, that we love each other. It's making it look like we are driving ourselves crazy, that we both like each other, you know. And we drove ourselves crazy, and then it sounds like you drove your mom crazy a long time ago. I remember that we used to drive our moms crazy all the time, and I remember I used to do that all the time. Used to drive your mom crazy all the time because you were like, I'm crazy. But I remember when you were crazy boyfriend to me and you were used to drive your mom crazy all the time. You're like, I'm crazy. But I remember you were like, you were crazy up saying in the world that you talked about the guy that loves you because, I'm always there for you because I'm always gonna be there for you because you were there for me the whole time when I was at your house the whole time and the whole time that I was. And then you talked about life too a couple of times and that's what I did when I had our vacation in the holiday and what you did in our vacation in the holiday. I used to drive my mom crazy all the time. When you were sick this whole week, I wanted to hang out with you, and you're like, you were sick that whole week. And then I probably didn't know you were feeling better yet. You were just still sick. You were just hanging out at home with your grandma. And, I was just like, I was just kind of like, think you were okay, And I did that a lot. And when I talked to you about, you used to drive me crazy all the time about life that when we have our life together, it's driving me crazy about when we get married, we're gonna be like I'm gonna be like driving my mom crazy if we want to get married till we're 39. And we're gonna get married to your mom's church when we get married. And then I think you drove your mom crazy all the time at home. And then before you left, you drive your mom crazy. And I always know that um, you used to do that all the time because you do that all the time. I was talking to you about it on the picture all the time. And I'm sitting there just saying, you need to stop driving your mom crazy. And that's what I was talking to you about, like in the computer. And I'm telling you, you're driving your mom crazy. And you need to know why, because when I drive my mom crazy, you always say, I am crazy, because the Lord is going to say that to you, honey. And I'm just trying to tell you because you drove your mom crazy and then you always drive your mom crazy all the time. I'm sitting there just saying it's because you you're gonna do it again. Going, it's Christmas, you're gonna drive your mom crazy. I know you always do that. I always know that you do that for the rest of our lives. When we get married, when we're 39, you're gonna drive your mom crazy. I already know what I was talking to you about that. And you to watch this because I always I always gonna love you. I always loved you. And you say the whole thing about my life. I was with you when we were 20 years ago because you drive your mom crazy at 20 years ago. I know that you do that. Watch this, honey.